Good morning. My name is Jenny Hobbs, and I serve on the board of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. I welcome everyone to our service this morning and welcome visitors to our open and inclusive community. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many spiritual paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another as we each explore these paths. I would like to especially welcome our guests and welcome again those who have visited us before. Visitors, it is the custom of our congregation to invite you to stand and give your name and where you are from if you feel comfortable doing so. Are there any visitors who would like to introduce themselves? Yes, please. Welcome, Samantha. Anybody else? Oh, welcome, Caitlin. All right, well, welcome to everyone visiting today. Please join us after the service for coffee hour. We would love to have the chance to get to know you better. Our Director of Religious Education, Steve Cooper, and our Congregational Life Coordinator, Mary Law, who is off today, and all of our members are eager to meet you, and I will also be present after the service down in Creeves Hall and would be happy to speak to you as well. For those of you who are live streaming via YouTube, please be aware that during times of sharing joys and concerns, the live stream will go blank. The live stream will return again after joys and concerns. Our service can be heard outside the glass doors at the back of the sanctuary should anyone feel the need to leave for any reason, and there are chairs provided for your convenience. As we begin our service, please silence all electronic devices. And we have one more announcement from the Sunday Services Committee. So please note that there was an error in the May newsletter, and the May 26th service with Reverend Mooney will be a single service at 10:30 a.m. The Sunday Services Committee regrets the error, and we look forward to seeing you May 26th at 10:30. Thank you all very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kat Gelder, and I'm the chair of the Sunday Services Committee here at our church.
And I'm Jim Wharton, a music committee member and a DUC-wide famous rock star.
We're here this morning to give everyone a brief update on the budget for next year. Last Sunday, we spoke about the congregation's $58,000 budget deficit for next year, the $30,000 in memorial gifts that the board has set aside to lessen the deficit, and the $28,000 left that we needed to raise to keep the amazing programming here at our church that makes it so special and be financially responsible in the long term.
And we have incredible, amazing, awesome news. Since last weekend, between new pledges, increased pledges, and one-time gifts, we have raised over $25,000. We are so grateful for everyone who were willing and able to give more. We are here again today to let you know that we are close, but still need to close the rest of the gap.
We still need to raise about $3,000 for next year's budget so that we can keep the powerful programs that make our church so special, like our religious education program, which teaches kids to never stop questioning and to never stop learning.
Our inspirational music program relies on our financial gifts to deliver the notes and harmonies that touch our souls week after week.
And our social justice Smile Project, which earned our congregation breakthrough congregation status in the UUA this year.
We can do this. $28,000 was a daunting deficit. When we divide that money up between the members of this church, it's a challenge we can meet. If about a quarter of our pledging units gave $120 more next year, the deficit would be eliminated. $10 a month. So we are asking you today, will you give the church $10 more per month to keep our church and its many inspirational programs financially sound, or $5, or $15.
Please remember there are generous pledging members and friends in our church who don't have the option to increase their pledge this year. So if you have the option, if you are willing and able to give the church $5 or $10 or $15 more per month next year, please do so. This is a call to immediate action. There is an insert in your order of service. It's bright pink, and you can make or increase your pledge next year or make a one-time donation.
I know that we can do this because I see potential at every turn, and I know sticking it out, choosing to do more, will help in creating a brighter future for all of us. This is not about DUUC asking me to give more money. It's about our willingness to give more to help sustain our church. My family already pledged more this year before this request, this announcement. We did more than our share. And now I've asked myself, will I choose to do more to help our church sail through rough waters? My answer was, of course, and we did. I, among many, are willing to choose further sacrifice because we want to keep our special beloved community that I proudly call my church, our church, alive and well. The choice doesn't come easily for me. I have experienced emotional pain, and I am hurting from Reverend Tom's departure. Some have left or reduced their giving as a direct result of this change, and I count myself among those that walked right up to the ledge and was close to making the jump. Personally, I'm not 100% healed. However, I have developed personal relationships with so many here who have spent their time and energy on my struggles, counseled me tirelessly. Others have taught me how to improve musically and have been open to my contemporary music performances and have appreciated the tremendous talent and dedication of every staff member here. In short, I believe this place and all of you are worth everything I contribute, and I look to myself to find ways to do more. Thank you for listening this morning, for all that you have given and are giving to our church each day. It is a blessing and an honor to be among you. Thank you.
We light our chalice this morning for the direct experiences of that transcending mystery and wonder, formed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life.
I'm digging way down, down to the bottom of my soul. I'm digging way down deep. Yes, I am. I'm digging way down, down to the bottom of my soul. There's clear water running through me. I'm digging way down, down to the bottom of my soul. I'm digging way down deep. Yes, I am. I'm digging way down, down to the bottom of my soul. There's clear water running through me. Ain't got no answers, got a whole lot of questions, and nothing on the surface seems to satisfy me. Can't find it on the
morning. I'm Kelly Trombley-Freitag, and I serve on the Sunday Services Committee here at DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. Today we have with us Reverend Linda Slaban and Symbol. Linda served the UU Fellowship of DeKalb for 26 years, along with her spouse, Dr. Tony Tolerand, who served as music director. Now retired, Linda is a minister emerita, a DeKalb County board member, and completes the laundry promptly. As a retired professor from Northern Illinois University, Tony does statewide seminars on supervision and trauma and gardens with passion. Grandma Tony and bionic Nana Linda, with her titanium hips, love to sing songs with 3-year-old granddaughter Amelia. Symbol, our group of guest singers, was formed in 2001 by UU women from DeKalb, Illinois. Combining years of experience with directing, singing, and playing instruments in choruses, choirs, solo and ensemble performances, Becky, Diane, Linda, Lynn, Terry, and Tony evoke emotion and energy through song. From spirituals to freedom songs, from music that fights hate to songs that inspire transformation, Symbol's music points to values of justice, hope, and spirit. We welcome them all to our service today.
It is time to gather. It's a time for a story or a lesson based on our theme and today's topic. Our theme this month is curiosity. And today we're talking about curiosity and empathy. In short, empathy is understanding how someone feels. It's about caring about other people. So before I start the story, I have some thoughts for you to think about. We think of mothers, we think of fathers, we think of friends and pets. Today is Mother's Day, and we show our love for our mothers and for all the people and beings who have cared for us. By being curious about how they are feeling, we become closer to them, and they become closer to us. How do you think your mother or person in your family is feeling today? Are they feeling loved? I wonder what today feels like for someone whose mother is far away. They might be lonely, or maybe just fine. Or who has two daddies. They might be feeling uncomfortable, or maybe happy. Or who has a grandparent instead. They might be feeling empty, or maybe full. We can send them love on this day, even though someone might be lonely or feeling empty, or maybe they are just fine. Our feelings are real and important. By being curious and wondering how they are feeling, we become closer to others. And we can send them love on this day because this day is for loving everyone. So today's story is about a family of penguins. And the name of the story is And Tango Makes Three. So in the middle of New York City, there's a great big park called Central Park. And children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride on in the summer and an ice rink to skate on in the winter. Best of all, it has its very own zoo. And every day, families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. But children and their parents aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with mothers and fathers and furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey moms raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and cotton-top tamarin families too. And in the penguin house, there are penguin families. And every year, at the very same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins. And the boy penguins start noticing the girl penguins. And when the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple. Two penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy, and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other, and they walked together, and they sang to each other and swam together, and wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other, and their keeper, Mr. Gramsci, noticed the two penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home, so they built a nest of stones for themselves. And every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw the other couples could do something that they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg, and she and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch. And then there would be a baby penguin. Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm, and they had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. Now, it was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it, and sat, and sat. And when Silo got sleepy, he slept. And when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam, and Roy sat. Day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock. But nothing happened. Then Mr. Gramsci got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of the nest, and every day they turned it so that each side stayed warm. And some days Roy sat while Silo went for food, and other days it was Silo's turn to take care of their egg. They sat in the morning, and they sat at night, and they sat through lunchtime and swim time and supper. They sat at the beginning of the month, and they sat at the end of the month, and they sat all the days in between. Until one day, they heard a sound coming from the inside of their egg. Peep, 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 peep. Roy and Silo called back, squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. And suddenly, a tiny hole appeared in the egg shell. And then, crack, out came their very own baby. And she had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, said Mr. Gramsci, because it takes two to make a tango. Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry, and they fed her food from their beaks, and they snuggled her in their nest at night, and Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Soon, Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest, and Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango, they all cheered. And at night, the three penguins returned to their nest, and they all snuggled together, and like other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the families in the big city around them, they went to sleep. Please stand in body or spirit as we sing hymn number 168, One More Step. After the first verse, the children and I will head to the class.
I really enjoy this hymn, but it has the tendency to become slower or sometimes dirge-like. So I've asked Tony if she would play it up-tempo. So we're going to give it a little more zip than perhaps you've heard it before. And Becky and I are going to attempt a descant on it as well, just to sort of shake things up. Here we go.
Now we take time in our service to pause and honor those personal joys and concerns that you may carry in your hearts. We affirm that as a community we share in your sorrows and rejoice in your happiness. When you come forward, please say your name and share one or two sentences and a joy or a concern in your personal life, that we may walk with you in the days to come. You are now invited to come forward and share your joy or concern with your beloved community.
In the early 1980s, Yaska Seuss studied sound with Tibetan lamas who had fled the Chinese invasion of Tibet in 1951. He wrote of his experience, stating, "A knowledge of sound carries with it great power. It allows one to travel without moving. If you ask a lama with a singing bowl whether it is true that the bowls are used for psychic, psychological, and physical purposes, he will smile and say, 'Perhaps.'" Tony and I have a large collection of brass tone bowls. It is thought that these metal singing bowls came to us in the West through Tibet, Nepal, and northern India. We have used them in rituals, counseling, worship services, and workshops. But it was on the island of Kauai that we first discovered crystal singing bowls. We were deeply moved by their sound. Crystal bowls are made from 99.99% pure crushed quartz crystal and are heated to about 4,000 degrees in a centrifugal mold. Each bowl is tested digitally to identify its exact tonal frequency. Slowly, over years, Tony and I selected each of our bowls to complement one another in harmony and song. Each singing bowl emits a pure resonance that can bring a clear focus to the mind and calm to the heart. Finally, we chose a much needed and necessary bowl. It is the voice of dissonance. It is the voice of questioning. This bowl is a metaphor for a voice that brings truth when it is not comfortable to hear. Or it could be a voice of vulnerability, woundedness, or courage. Ultimately, this bowl sings with the others in a fuller, richer harmony.
the journey's the only thing you want to do. You cannot know what you go through or see through your eyes, but we will surround you, the pride undisguised, in any direction, whatever you view. You're taking our love there with you. Every long journey, what drives you to go? It's half what you know and half what you don't. The secret's been waiting, your heart's got the key. The secret's the only thing you want to see. We cannot know what you go through or see through your eyes, but we will surround you, the pride undisguised, in any direction, whatever you view. You're taking our love there with you. Every long journey brings you a dream, a spirit that's courage to make it all real. The dream has been calling to you. The dream is the only thing you want to do. We cannot know what you go through or see through your eyes, but we will surround you, the pride undisguised, in any direction, whatever you view. You're taking our love there with you. We cannot know what you go through or see through your eyes, but we will surround you, the pride undisguised, in any direction, whatever you view. You're taking our love there with you. You're taking our love. Taking our love there with you.
All the preaching you need today can be found in these songs. From what Symbol sings to the meditation in music of the tone bowls, to the hymns that we all sing together. For example, at the call to worship, Symbol sang Holly Near's "Listen to the Voices." We ask you to listen to the voices of the First Nations. Why? Because they are calling out messages of the earth and sky, telling us what we need to know in order to survive, to address climate change, greed, and to heal this wounded earth. And we ask you to listen to the voices of the old women. Why? Because when you have accrued enough years so that you seem invisible and unimportant, and your body sags, and parts of it begin to fail, and more people that you love die, then some old women have indeed acquired wisdom. A wisdom about freedom. It's realizing that we, every one of us, must let go of our grasping. That we can live fully and deeply, and then with courage, we must let it all go. Old women know this. And we ask you to listen to the voices of the young children, calling out messages of the heart and of the soul, telling us what we used to know before the lies were told. Remember? Remember as a young child when you knew in your bones when things were not fair and your heart hurt to see others who were bullied or homeless or without. Remember when lies were wrong, not part of politics or get-ahead justifications? Listen to the voices of the young children, for they are curious about life, and they are curious how we teach them how to live it. And one of our common metaphors for living is that each of us has our own journey to take. Every long journey is made of small steps, made of the courage and the feelings we get. We cannot know what you go through or see through your eyes, but we can offer to surround one another with love, whatever the direction or view that each person may choose. It sounds easy enough, surrounding one another with love, but if it were, I don't think that we would have what researcher and activist Dr. Brené Brown calls, quote, a silent epidemic of shame. In her book, I Thought It Was Just Me, but It Isn't, telling the truth about perfectionism, inadequacy, and power, Dr. Brown indicates that there is strong evidence of the relationship between shame and a myriad of issues, such as shame and addiction, violence, shame and depression. Shame tells us that we are unworthy, unlovable, and worst of all, incapable of change. Shame tells us our imperfections make us inadequate, and our vulnerabilities, well, they're just weakness. Shame sends us two messages. The first is, who do you think you are? And the second whispers insidiously, you're never good enough, and you'll never be good enough. Over time, we learn to hide our struggles and protect ourselves from shame, from judgment, and from blame by seeking safety in wearing masks. Masks of perfection, masks of pretending. If we are not aware of our own vulnerabilities and our triggers, of the masks we wear, we move quickly into forms of self-protection like criticism, cynicism, anger, or withdrawal. Then hiding and hurting. Shame robs us of joy, truth, and authenticity. So what can be done? We can learn to be curious. Curious in response to things that trouble us or frighten us, rather than being judgmental or removing ourselves from situations where we are uncomfortable. How, we might ask, how did you come to hold that view about politics? How, we might ask, how did you come to hold that view about relationships, about marriage? How, we might ask, did you come to own so many guns? And how did you come to that position on gun control? We can learn skills of empathy, like listening without offering a solution to someone's dilemma. But we might comment on their strength in facing it. Or, and this is my bane, this is my struggle, we can practice keeping our most excellent opinion to ourselves until or unless we are asked for it. Anne Reed, who wrote Every Long Journey, suggests that it's half what you know and half what you don't. The secret's been waiting. Your heart's got the key. The secret's the only thing you want to see. I love this verse, and here's why. Okay, so those of you over 30 years old, I'm going to ask you to raise your hands. How many, no, not for that question. Wait a minute. How many of you have had your life turn out exactly or pretty darn close to what you expected your life would be when you were 15 or 20 years old? Is it exactly what you imagined it would be, or is it really close to what you imagined it would be? Let me see a show of hands. Okay, I see three. Congratulations. How many of us have had twists, turns, unexpected outcomes? Let's see a show of hands there. More than 3. Exactly. My life is nothing like I expected it to be. At 15 or 20, my mom and family were pretty clear. Teacher, nurse, married, 2.5 children, living in the suburbs. Now that 0.5 I thought was going to be tricky, but still, that's what I expected. And what I have found is a 26-plus year relationship with my beloved lesbian spouse, stepsons, and a biracial granddaughter. Not what my mother or father would have accepted or appreciated back when I was 15, and certainly not what I expected. So much of life is that secret that unfolds. Half what you know and half what you don't. But it's our journey, and it drives us forward. Every long journey begins with a dream that takes courage and spirit to make it all real. The dreams we hold for this world and for our children are calling, and I cannot begin to know what you will go through to make those dreams real. Dr. Brené Brown teaches that letting go of our individual shame is not enough. What we need is to live a wholehearted life, she says. It doesn't just happen and you aren't born with it. Living a wholehearted life takes resilience, commitment, and courage. Dr. Brown recommends 7 practices or approaches to make this life real. They're not hard. I even think you'll remember most of them. Number 1, tell our stories to each other. Our stories of what we didn't expect. Our stories of our journey. We'll be amazed. Practice hope and gratitude. Number 2. Number 3, think critically, which is a pretty acceptable one for Unitarian Universalists. This next one is more of our challenge. Embrace vulnerability and imperfection. Number 4. Number 5, honor faith and intuition. Number 6, I love the juxtaposition of number 6. Value perseverance and value rest. How many of us overdo? Stick to it and stick to it and stick to it until we're exhausted and crack or snap or whatever. Yes, we value perseverance. Do we also value rest? And number 7, hold joy and laughter as sacred. If you have lost it, go to find it again. Joy and laughter are sacred. We cannot change this world if we're grim, beat down people. Let us be people of joy. Might you choose these 7 as a guidebook for your journey? Might you begin with small steps? Might you be curious enough to keep asking questions in the face of fear, in the face of anger, and in the face of frustration? Might you be courageous enough to listen for the secret of your life, the secret of your heart, your dreams, and then mindfully embrace them day after day after day. And I do know this, that the chance is greater for your success when you are surrounded by a community that upholds you with love and pride. So take it. Take our love and our pride with you. Taking our love. Take it with you and journey well. Amen. For our offertory, Symbol is going to sing a song, and both the song and this opening prayer is my nod to Mother's Day. This prayer is written by Lynn Hybels, and I edited it just a bit. It's titled The Dangerous Women's Creed. Dear God, please make us dangerous women. May we be women who acknowledge our power to change, to grow, and to be radically alive. May we be healers of wounds and righters of wrongs. May we weep with those who weep and speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. May we cherish children, embrace the elderly, and empower the poor. May we pray deeply and teach wisely. May we be strong and gentle leaders. May we sing songs of joy and talk down fear. May we never hesitate to let passion push us, conviction compel us, and righteous anger provide energy for action. May we strike fear into all that is unjust and evil in this world. May we dismantle abusive systems and face lies with truth. May we each, men and women, shine like stars in the darkness. May we change the world, and may we be dangerous women. Amen.
Sisters, you keep me fighting, you keep me strong. The struggle we are waging is gonna take our whole lives long. But when I look around and see your faces, see the fire behind those eyes, I know it's a battle we will stand and win, for freedom voices never die. We must fight for better health care and protect our right for choice. To control our reproductive rights, we must stand and raise our voice. Women must be safe at night and safe in our own homes. Stop the beating, stop the rape. Our bodies are our own. Sisters, you keep me fighting. You keep me strong. The struggle we are waging is gonna take our whole lives long. But when I look around and see your faces, see the fire behind those eyes, I know it's a battle we will stand and win, for freedom voices never die. Women battle in war-torn countries for a just and peaceful place. Starvation, killing, and the grief have been carved on each woman's face. As women all around the world, we struggle with
Our final hymn is by Grace Lewis McLaren. We're going to invite you to sing with us, and we are fine if you join with us on the verses, but for sure you have to join with us on the chorus. Now, some of us have some Eastern European ancestry, and so I myself will be tapping into my grandmother and great-grandmother in my use of how she spoke when she first came to this country, and that it brings me great joy. In addition, there is a little dance that goes with this particular number, and Diane is going to guide us through it as we hear perhaps, or say the verse as we walk through it. Would you be willing to lead us in there?
For bringing your music to us today, and everyone greet your neighbor and meet in Creeves Hall for coffee.